ನೋಡಿ ಇವಾಗ ಕಳಿಸಿ. ಸೊ ಲಿಂಕ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅದೇ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೇವ್ಡ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ನೀವು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ನಾನು ಯಾವುದು ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಂಬರ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಿ, ಇದು ಆಫೀಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೇವ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ನೋಡಿ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಈ ತರ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್. ಮಾಡಲಾ? ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಟೀಮ್. ಸೊ ಏರೋಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಂತೀರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಸರ್? ಏರೋಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಂತೀರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಡಿ ಮೋಡ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ ನಿಮ್ದು. ಏರೋಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮೋಡ್ ಬೇಡ. ಹಾಂ, ಓಕೆ. ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ good evening to all. Welcome to yet another class on weekly current affairs. So we will be covering current affairs from October 17 to October 23. Okay. Now you all know that just a minute. Lights glare button. No light off. Switch off. No. Switch on one light. Is it visible? October 17th is not visible. Switch on. Switch off. No, no. The previous one, last light is switch on. Okay. Is it okay? Answer, yeah. Huh? Okay. Right. So sorry for the inconvenience. We are looking at October 17 to 23. And let us look at first thing, October 17th. What is the importance of October 17th? October 17th is International Day for Eradication of Poverty. Okay, so International Day for eradication of poverty. Okay. So as you all know, this is days and themes are important. Every in exams nowadays, everybody are asking about days and themes, and hence you never know because many a times questions come on days and themes. So first thing is it is one of the core principles of equality, that is economic equality, human dignity. All of these are guaranteed only when we eradicate poverty. Okay, so eradication of poverty is very very important, and we can remember that it is on October 17, and the compelling theme. I'll just write down the theme for all of you. You can note it down. So, what is the theme? The theme for this year is that ending social and institutional maltreatment by ensuring respect. It could be an effective support for families, that is institutional maltreatment. Say for example, some people are not able to get work done. Okay, some work done or because of their poverty, garibi ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ. Now, institutional maltreatment has to be addressed so that effectively all families are treated in equality. Now, there are multiple things. Remember one thing in India, poverty assessment, poverty estimation was many committees are responsible for identifying poverty. First was not first. One of the committees is Tendulkar committee. Another committee is Rangarajan committee. Okay. So Rangarajan is one of the famous economists. To all the people who are appearing new, who are this is their first prelims or who are writing again, etc. You might have heard about Rangarajan, one of the famous economists in Indian history, and the Tendulkar committee as well. So these are two ways of assessing poverty. How do we assess poverty is dependent on one is calorie count, another is wages. Now we will not get into the debate, but of late, world across, what is the most accepted measure is multidimensional poverty index, what we call as MPI. Not one or two, multi-dimensionally poverty should be there, and only then it will be considered as poverty. Okay, so firstly, um, it is now accepted as an international. Give me a minute. So the United Nations General Assembly has accepted this day. Like we have seen, the Yoga Day is also accepted as an international day. Similarly, this is one of the important days to be accepted. Then India's significant improvement in poverty. Let us look at that because, as you all know, in GS1 there is a separate segment called as poverty and how one effectively overcomes poverty, or what cafeteria approach they say. Like you cannot just do only one approach, that is freebies or anything. A mix of approaches is needed, students. Okay, so this approach is called as cafeteria approach, where you give some aspect as economic aids, some aspect as for different segments. How do they overcome? Let us say for children, how will they overcome when they are young? Okay, now what does that mean? That let's say somebody is 25 and is poor. Are their dreams not valid? Yes, their dreams are also valid. We have to fulfill their dreams as well. So how does this person overcome poverty? It cannot be like, no, no, now we are focusing on 12-year-olds to overcome poverty. Your time is over. We cannot say that. Similarly, a 35 or a 40-year-old person who is still in poverty, what is it that we can do to uplift them? So different age group people need different aids to overcome poverty. Let's say for example a 60-year-old person, there is no, for that person, for the 60-year-old person, promising a bright future for a 12-year-old will have not much relevance. Similarly, multiple measures, how do we tackle poverty, can be, different aids are to be given for different people. It could be in terms of age, it could be in terms of gender, it could be in terms of region, and so on. Okay, now let us look at some statistics about poverty. Say, for example, India has successfully uplifted 171 million people out of poverty. Okay, so 171 million people have been lifted out of poverty in how many years? In the year between 2011 to 2025. Okay, so that is about 17 crore people have been lifted out of poverty. Now, urban unemployment rate has reached higher. Unemployment, employment, all of these are linked to poverty, but this number will help you answer your GS paper one better. Maybe you can add some more points on how world across we have been one of the fastest people to lift people out of poverty. Okay, so this is about uh, poverty. I will just write universal SDGs, sustainable development goals. One of the important sustainable development goal is to eradicate poverty, right? See, poverty is not just a local phenomena, it is not just a regional phenomena. You look at some extreme poverty levels in, um, let's say, Sudan, okay, and you can see some extreme poverty levels even in South American countries where economies have not been very strong. You can, maybe you have seen places where people go into the malls, they break the barricades and get it out, etc. Why does these things happen? Because it's disguised unemployment, etc. ಇದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸೇರಿ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮಗೆ ಪಾವರ್ಟಿ ಇನ ಒಂದು ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆ. Okay, so let us come to the next topic of the week. Again, we are looking at another issue. The issue is called as Henley's passport index. Okay, ಏನಪ್ಪಾ Henley's passport index ಅಂದ್ರೆ now what is ವಿಶ್ವಮಾನವ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದು ವಸುದೈವ ಕುಟುಂಬಕಂ or in African they say Ubuntu. Okay, the world is one place ಅಂತ. So the Ubuntu, when they say that the world is one place, but you know George Orwell's novel called as Animal Farm. Okay, in Animal Farm, George Orwell says all animals are equal. Okay, but some animals are more equal. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal. He says this in the context of communism. But why am I saying this? Henley's passport index gives you an idea of how important are you or a citizen of a nation in the context of the world. That is, with the passport of the nation that you belong to, what all is possible. Let us say, for example, you are stuck in a war prone zone. Okay, now, the treatment that you are given in a war prone zone will differ based on what passport you are holding. Okay, so that is why this passport index gives you an idea of whether we are more equal or we are just equal among all animals. This might be crude, but this is the actual definition of Henley's passport index. Let's say, for example, if an American citizen is stuck in a war prone zone, highest priority is given to save that person. It could be America, UK, or one of the few top listed countries in the passport index. Now, why am I stressing on this? In this list, India has been ranked 85th. Okay, so the recent released on 20 on 17th November on 17th October this year is that India has been ranked 85th in Henley's passport index, and the top rankers of the so India has been ranked 85th. This includes prior visa, whether they will be given visa without arrival, whether it includes a visa free travel, all of this. If the person is holding a visa passport, then how many countries can they visit without visa, right? So let's say if one is a citizen of the top few countries that is ranked one, two, three, then number of countries they will be able to visit without visa will be much higher. Okay, so that is the logic, and top rankers include Singapore, which is on number one spot. So this is about Henley's passport index, and it is important to know how the methodology and drivers, but from the exam point of view, it is not so relevant because in examination they rarely ask about the what is the criteria for Henley's passport index. But many years ago, they did ask about which um, agency publishes Henley's passport index. You all can comment who publishes Henley's passport index. Okay, see, there are many foundations, many NGOs, like say for example, Walk Free Foundation and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They all publish multiple reports from their research that they do actively. Okay, and these are all data driven, what we call as social science initiatives. Now, coming to the next topic, which is there, which is project Trinetra. Okay, students. So we are looking at a topic called as project Trinetra, which basically stands for targeted risk. Okay, targeted risk based insights. N stands for next crime estimation. Next crime. E stands for estimation. T stands for tactical resource allocation. Okay, so tactical resource allocation. Now, one thing I want to mention here about Project Trinetra is it is India's first AI ethical police model. Okay, so it is a police model which is India's first AI ethical police model. What does it mean? That it aims to enhance the efficiency in resource deployment by predicting crime hotspots and patterns based on data driven approach. Okay, so which are the crime hotspots and what is happening there, all of this it will be able to predict, and this will be an AI model that will be used. Okay, so and it will work on um, the principle of machine learning. So you all might have heard AI comes with the word as ML. Okay, machine learning is the first part. Artificial intelligence is the next part. It is being done under the superintendence of Police Archit Chandra. Okay, so this is about Project Trinetra. Now, at this point, we will try to see some aspects about AI, its importance, generative AI, etc. Now, AI, as you all know, we all are living in the era of AI. We are all witnessing the cutting edge technology. Let us say, for example, there was the industrial revolution. Now, after that, we are seeing something so rampant, so sporadic that never seen before. So, in terms of AI, its application can be seen now anywhere in from job application, from being able to generate images, video, deep fakes, all of this, and questions related to AI and India's contribution are highly valid and possible in the current examination scheme, that is in 2026 exam. Now, let us talk about a scheme. Okay, students. So let us talk about a scheme called as SETA. So the scheme is called as SETA. Now, what is SETA? As you all know, that the UIAD, Aadhaar original agency, has introduced the scheme for innovation and technology association with Aadhaar. Basically, it helps to identify authentication systems that are targeted and aims to eliminate things like deepfakes, which I just said about use of AI. Okay, so deepfakes ಆಗಿ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಏನು biometric frauds, right? Impersonation, all of this can be avoided through UIADI's new initiative called as SETA. The full form of SETA is Scheme for Innovation. Scheme for, you can all note down, Scheme for Innovation. Let me erase this. Okay, so what is it? Scheme for Innovation, Technology associated with Aadhaar. Okay, so AA stands for association with Aadhaar. As simple as that. Now, remember, India not in today's world is at the cutting edge of technology in aspects like biometric validation, UPI, etc. So these things have helped India gain an edge, and it will continue to do so. So there are multiple such things. One is Atmanirbhar Bharat, indigenous research and development, face liveness detection, then presentation and attack detection, and all of that which are possible through this scheme. Okay, so contactless fingerprint association. See, basically, we have to know what is the core of the topic. Then question will not be exactly on what key points are there. We will have to see a little bit of guesswork measure. What would be the possible question? All right. So let us move ahead. Right. So let us next question is about what is it? It is about authorized. Okay. It is about authorized economic operator program. Okay. So this is about authorized economic operator program. Why is this in news? This is in news because firstly, India has introduced this program which helps MSMEs participation in international trade and streamline world custom compliance. Okay, so MSMEs, say for example, somebody is an MSME. Okay, it could be a trader, let us say somebody who is a clothes trader. Okay, that person could be mm, facing some export issues. Okay, customs related export issues that person could be facing. Let us say they are from Gudad Gudda, okay, in Karnataka. From Gudad Gudda, how will a person export to, let us say, Germany? Quality could be extraordinary, the fabric could be very nice, but there needs to be a hand holding for these traders. So every trader at every stage will be facing question marks. What if my um, goods go missing and I don't receive any payment, because they will be operating in very small profit margins. Okay, so these margins will be so small. Sometimes could be large enough, but there will always be a worry. There will be an investment, capital, everything that has gone in. Now, why am I saying this? So India is helping MSMEs to adapt to the world customs regulations. Okay, so ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Now, when we come to the customs regulation of the world, which is the body that is most encouraging of international trade, which is the body that wants international trade to improve always, that there should be no hurdles, people should not do malified practices, etc. The institute is WTO, that is World Trade Organization. Now, the World Trade Organization has appreciated India's AEO program, that we are doing a good work, and we should continue to encourage MSMEs of your nation in basically export practices, and that will give a further boost. Let us say, for example, there are multiple things from the WTO. See, the WTO is a body once formed, okay, has been in favor of some nations, but typically strives closely for globalization. Okay, so it wants global trade to keep on growing, despite that there are several tariffs put by Trump. See, the question on WTO's efficiency is highly questionable, students, because when India puts tariff, suddenly WTO chairperson will come and they will give a press statement that no, these are against the laws of WTO, etc. But today tariff war is so emergent. Okay, so there is a big tariff war that is happening between USA and every other nation in the world, right? So in that context, efficiency of WTO will depend on nation to nation, is what we can best say. However, there should be a rule-based ecosystem, and WTO is that rule setter. It has released some uh, rules, and let's say, for example, WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement, quite famous for facilitating trade across the world, is also popular. Now, in that is a 2018 edition. It has also given something called as the SAFE guidelines. See, all of this, any of this can come as a question in the exam. SAFE guidelines is given by which organization? Could be in UPSC or CAPR, CDF, or any other exam students. Okay, so SAFE guidelines related questions are also possible. Now, which are the target entities of the programs? See, any program, like we said, AEO, there will be always target entities. Okay, so which are the target entities of the programs? First, starting with importers. Anybody who wants to import, let's say, raw materials, goods, etc. Then exporters, all of the people who want to export. Then logistic providers, warehouse operations, all of these people are benefited from this. Okay, right. Now, let us look at the next current affairs issue of the last week. As you all know, I want to touch a little bit upon the gold price fluctuation. This is from the economics point of view. See, we are seeing an unprecedented rally of gold price in the last 1 year. June, January 2024, gold price was at 65,000. Okay, and October 2025, you all know, gold price is at 1,25,000. So what does it? What is it saying? It is saying that price has nearly doubled. That you are getting a 100% increase on your investment. Okay, so in just there is no mutual fund, no stock, no financial product, nothing in this world which can guarantee a 100% return on investment, and that has happened. That unprecedented thing has happened. Reason being multiple reasons. One, global tensions. Okay, so rising global tensions will always mean investors will look to put their money in safe havens. Okay, so ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅವರ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಸೇಫ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಆ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. Second thing, the US dollar weakening, because the US dollar index has fallen. So multiple people want to invest in products which are not linked directly to US. Third thing is the US Federal Bank has told that there will not be a further increase in federal rates. Okay, so further increase in federal rates, if it is not there, that means that people who are investing will not get sufficient returns. Hence, they will have other plans to invest. Okay, now India is now vouching for exchange programs. Okay, so many, you say for example, Sachin Tendulkar is now on the Tata Trust gold ad saying that why buy new gold? Save the nation by exchanging your old gold with new gold. Okay, so that will reduce gold imports because India imports around 700 to 800 tons of gold, students. Okay, so now these are all things that as an aspirant you might want to know, which can help you. These conversations with your families, with your siblings, with your brother, sister, friends can help you understand what is their psychology related to something which is very close to them as well. Okay, ಅವ್ರು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. All right, because one, it will help you revise as well. Two, it will help you see if you can convince them what you're thinking is correct or not. Okay, now the RBI has given certain guidelines related to this, that nobody can borrow money to buy gold now. Okay, so you can't say that I want to buy 1,25,000 and buy this gold, because if the value of gold falls, how will that person return? Right? So that is first thing. Second thing is GML, that is called as Global Metal Loan. The Global Metal Loan is now available for merchants who are not exporters or jewelers. Okay, so the gold metal loan is now available for everybody, that they can keep their gold metal and take loan on that. But this is only applicable from April 1 of 2026. Okay, so the Reserve Bank has cautioned people on speculative gold buying through loans. Okay, if not from banks, people can take loans from unorganized sector. ಏನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದುಡ್ಡು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ 3% ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. I just told you, right, 100% returns it has given. Okay, so 100% returns in 2 years means maybe somebody will take an unorganized loan at about 3%. What we see typically in rural areas or tier 2 tier 3 cities, ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಧರಂ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಅಂತ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ 3 rupees ದುಡ್ಡು ತಗೊಂಡು if they take gold, then they will not be able to recover. Okay, so these are few aspects on gold escalation. So this is called as a gold rally. We don't know till where it will go, whether it will crash, what will happen, we are yet to see. Now, um, As you all know, the last week is was a Diwali week, and prior to that, there was something called as Operation Fire Trail. Okay. Now, what is Operation Fire Trail, students? Operation Fire Trail is an DRI, that is Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, a DRI operation. And it is very easy to remember this operation. It is about fire, that is firecrackers. So the DRI has raided few Chinese smuggled crackers as well as illegally, that is illegal imports that were coming from China at the Nhava Sheva port. Okay, so they have held the boat. The see, you need not go so much into the depth of how many kgs was held, what is the valuation of it, and all of that. Other exam point of view, na important Allah. It is just that you need to know what is fire, right? It is carving of Chinese good. Now, in terms of crackdown of smuggling indicates and what are the licenses that it has abrogated, all of it are not so important. But there are, what is the rule in India? There is an explosives rule of 2008, explosive rules 2008. Okay, so this rule has clearly lays down the guidelines for what is to be done with um, how crackers have to be imported in India. Let us take a small 2-minute break and we will continue. Right. So let us continue. Basically, now what is an FFS? An FFS is a flood forecasting system. Many years ago in France, in Paris, in the city of Paris, there was a huge, what we call as um, temperate cyclone. Okay, you all know France is in the temperate zone, and temperate cyclones are different from tropical cyclones. Just comes, there is a cyclone, and it just passes away. But the timings are different, the frequency is higher, and effect is not as much. But definitely, if planning is not much, like let's say in urban cities like Paris, etc., where it is highly populated, even a temperate cyclone can cause floods. Okay, so a flood forecasting system is implemented in Paris, wherein if there is a temperate cyclone, which are the areas that needs to be first evacuated. Okay, so it will first tell, okay, these are the areas, these are the what we called areas like Velachery in Chennai. Okay, so these areas where easily water gets accumulated. In these areas, um, efforts to evacuate happens first. This system has now been implemented in Tamil Nadu. This is India's first flood forecasting system. You just need to remember this. Chennai recently has implemented Tamil Nadu as the first major milestone in urban resilience and become the first city in India to fully operationalize a real-time flood forecasting system. Basically, the data, it collects the data and it processes the data and it gives like how is it that flood can affect. Okay, so there is a coverage area, and it is fully, the initiative is funded by World Bank under the Project Development Grant Fund and Tamil Nadu's Urban Development. So it is a World Bank funded project. For confusing, many a times they give like United Nations Disaster Resilience Program, United Nations Rehabilitation and Reconstruction, things like this, or United Nations UNFCCC, but it is actually funded by the World Bank. Okay, so I hope there is no confusion in this. Now, developing partners of this are multiple people: SECON, okay, IIT Madras, all of these are developing partners, that is, who have developed this system. Now, let us look at a little more crisper issues that have happened in the last week. One is the Police Commemoration Day. Okay, so Police Commemoration. When is Police Commemoration Day? The Police Commemoration Day is on October 21st. Okay, so as you all know, the history of it is that on October 21st, it is said that there is a tragic clash in 1959 at the hot springs of Ladakh, and that from there onwards, that the Indian patrol of Indian personnel deployed for monitoring the northern frontier were ambushed, and the Chinese troops heavily ambushed it, and in their remembrance, police are commemorated on this day. Some of the people who do great service to the nation, it could be the police, it could be doctors, it could be teachers, all of them have separate days. Engineers, all of these people have separate days because of their remembrance and contribution to nation building. Okay, right. Now, some other smaller news is Japanese Japan has elected their first women prime minister. Okay, remember, in a highly developed nation, when people are talking so much about gender equality, etc., etc., even till today, there hasn't been a woman US president. Okay, so India, in that sense, has seen a lot of women chief ministers, a woman prime minister for an elongated period. But developed nations, which talk multiple times about equality and gender equality, glass ceiling breakage, etc., are still lying behind. And so, Senei Takaichi is the new. See, not just at the top level. We have had Sushma Swaraj, who was the Minister of External Affairs, and so many such dynamic women leaders. Definitely, there's Margaret Thatcher, who was there, and Theresa May in UK, who was there. So many more are there, but some nations are still catching up. But in the context of um, Japan, they have their first prime minister, that is, you can just remember this, our dear friend from Japan, Shinzo Abe, and you have to remember him on this day because India and Japan relations is very, very, very crucial to keep China in check and for Indo-Pacific. Okay, so our nations with Japan is highly valuable, deeply important. Okay, so you all know that India, Japan, Australia, and the USA. This is the Pacific. Okay, so this quad is highly vital for a peaceful Pacific Ocean and a rule based trade in the Pacific region. A rule-based trade should happen in the Pacific region, and this is very, very important. Okay, India, Japan, USA, and Australia, especially India and Japan, because China is located here. China has had skirmishes with Japan and with India in the past. But remember one thing, China and Japan trade relations are so deep. They have a history of trade relations. Even in China and India's trade are so deep that just our relations being good with Japan is not sufficient. Okay? It is called as India and China have cherry blossom relationship. Okay? So they both have cherry blossom relationship. Shinzo Abe, see, relations between two nations are deeply dependent on their leaders. Okay? That is why when political leadership change, relations with different people change. Let's say, for example, when Nepal elected a highly communist leader in the previous internal elections, Nepal became very closer to the communist China. Okay, so the Nepal prime minister and the communist China become much closer because of the political head. Okay, similarly, when in Bangladesh political leadership change, their association with India depends on how much they are affiliated to India. Same way, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe had very good relations, and unfortunately, with the moving on and passing of Shinzo Abe, things haven't been at that level as what it was earlier. Okay, another important thing is about Kapala system. So you all might know that the Saudi Arabia has confirmed that the 50-year-old Kafala labor sponsorship system, considered as inhuman, considered as uncivilized, has been ended. It is some sort of a bonded labor that is there. So this kafala system has been abolished by Saudi Arabia, and it is great retreat because there have been many cases where people have gone to Saudi, have stuck there, their passports have been taken, and it is called as modern day slavery. Okay, so it is called as modern day slavery, wherein basically people like painters, welders, electricians, all of these people, they go in terms of some sponsorship and are held back in Saudi for different reasons. Okay, so like I said, it is inhuman and has been abolished. We don't need to go much deeper. If you only know where is it coming from and which nation, that is enough. You don't need to know the details of what is kafala, what are the you know sub points within it. Okay, that much is not important. So the next important news, or one of the news that is there, is first woman president of sports news, that is Captain Shanta Rangaswamy. Captain Shanta Rangaswamy has been elected as the president of Indian Cricketers Association, marking an historic moment that the first woman, she is the first woman, Shanta Rangaswamy. Okay, so Shanta Rangaswamy has been elected, and she is the first woman who is the president of the Indian Cricket Association. Remember, it is the representative um, of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, and earlier she has played for I mean, has been a distinguished cricketer and has held different positions and has successfully performed. So these are some important news and details of this year, of this week. We'll meet again in the next class. Till then, see you all. Thank you.